Okay. So this is Rudra Dweep, Gaudiya Math. Rudra Para, Gaudiya Math. It was in this holy place, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada came here and he executed his vow to chant 1 billion holy names. And you could understand times of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati means about 100 years ago. 1922 he met Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in Calcutta at that time, at Uttadanga. Anyway, probably afterwards, I'm not sure of the chronology. I don't know exactly when he came here. It may have been before his sannyas, it may have been after he took sannyas. I don't know. We'll have to ask Gaudiya Math people. They would know better. Or Bhakti Vikas Swami would know better. Because he's compiled the commentary on the life of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Anyway, it was in this place that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada came here to chant the holy name. And 100 years ago, there was not much development. It would be more or less jungle. You want to chant the holy name, you want to be away from people. You don't want people disturbing you. We know Gorkishore Das Babaji went to chant in the public outhouse, public toilet, to avoid people. So, in the same manner, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada came here to chant the holy name away from disturbing elements. Of course, he also wrote Vaishnava Ki. Tumi Kishera Vaishnava Pratistana Gari Nirjanera Gari Tava Hari Nam Keval Kaita. That just for the sake of profit and distinction, you chant the holy name in a secluded place, just to get the attention of common people. So of course that was not the thinking of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. He was Nrsimha Guru. He was the lion guru. He was very aggressive, you could say, in his preaching. And he challenged everyone who was against the principles of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. He challenged everyone who were presenting their own speculative ideas about the nature of the absolute truth. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, as a young man, he was always with his father being Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But when he was with his father, it wasn't like a father and son relationship. He always addressed Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur as Mahashaya, meaning great soul, great personality. And he had the greatest respect for his father. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was preaching in Jagannath Puri because at one point he was engaged in service there. And there was one person, one Babaji, who was propagating the chanting of another manufactured mantra. He'd made up a mantra of his own. He'd put together a mantra with different names, with names like Krishna and Chaitanya and so on in it. But it was all it was not authorized, and he was propagating chanting of this mantra, and he was getting followers. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was giving classes in Jagannath Puri, and somehow this Babaji would come and listen to Bhaktivinoda Thakur lecture. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur at that time would point out to the Babaji that what you're teaching is not bona fide. It's against the teachings of the Sampradayas. But the Babaji would not take instruction. He didn't listen to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was there, and he would confront the Babaji and very angrily chastise this Babaji and warn him that you can never expect any good result from your propaganda of this bogus mantra. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was preaching so strongly that the followers of this Babaji became very angry against him. And they were so angry against him that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur thought it wise. He told Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he told him, better you go to Mayapur. You go and stay in Mayapur for a while and just chant the holy name. So at that time, he'd come here to Mayapur to get away from the tension, because Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada preached very strongly, very powerfully against anything which was against the teachings of the Sampradayas, and particularly the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati encouraged people in their renunciation. But he wanted renunciation according to the teachings of Rupa Goswami, not just simply dry renunciation, which makes the heart hard to renounce all material pleasures and any kind of comfort, to renounce the material world. That dry renunciation was not the mood of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Rather, his mood was to utilize everything in the service of Krishna. People were generally seeing sadhus as being impoverished people who had nothing material. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati would go in a car. 100 years ago, he had a car, and he would go to the government, the big people from England who were in power, who were running the country at that time. He would go to meet them. And he would dress. Usually sadhus would dress with cloth without any stitching. It would be just simple plain cloth. I was telling this morning about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taking sannyas and putting on the dress of a renunciate. Very simple, unstitched cloth. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati would wear a nice cloth, and he would wear also kurta. It was from his time that the kurta was being introduced. Previously, sadhus would never wear a kurta, no sewn cloth. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he wanted to show people that sadhus can also utilize wealth in the service of Lord Krishna. So he would wear a kurta, and he would wear an overcoat, and even he would wear leather shoes. And he would have his Bhagavatams bound with leather to protect his books, his Bhagavatams. He would have them bound in leather. So he did these kind of things. He would utilize everything for the service of Lord Krishna, exactly according to the teachings of Rupa Goswami. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati established the center here. You can see as we're going around the dam, different Gaudiya Math temples, they're not in very prominent areas. It's not like there's a lot of local people around to support them. We were there, we went to, on the very first day, we were in Godrum Dweep. We went to the Suvarna Sen, Suvarna Sen, that temple, a remote area. And you can see also this temple here. There's not a lot of people around. So, this is for the holy Dham, because Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wanted to have centers on each of the islands in the holy Dham, because he performed also parikrama, and he brought thousands of people on parikrama. And when they had elephant, even he would ride on an elephant, and there was opposition. At one point they got stoned. People threw stones on them. It was very big news in the time. The parikrama devotees were stoned. They tried to stop the parikrama. And when he went to Vrindavan also, when he brought the devotees to Vrindavan, at that time all the shopkeepers closed the shops. They didn't want to sell anything to any of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. They were so opposed to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati because he was so revolutionary in his preaching. He was giving the sacred thread, the Brahmanical thread, he was awarding it to people from low-class positions in society. And this was being opposed by the caste Brahmins, the Smarta Brahmins, the Jati Brahmins. They were furious. They said, this is ridiculous. Of course, there was also Narottam Das Thakur, who was also not from a Brahmana family, who became a guru and who gave initiation. So that created problems. And when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada began to give Brahman initiation from people who were Sudra and Malecha and Yagna, when he awarded them the sacred thread, then it was an outrage. People were very upset. So he got a lot of criticism. But Srila Prabhupada said in Chaitanya Charitamrita that this is the sign of a bona fide religion. When people are opposed, when people don't like it, that means you're teaching something very good. You cannot expect to please all the common people who are attached to all their mundane ideas, have their own ideas about everything. And so Prabhupada writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita how the devotees would go for Sankirtan and be arrested. Like in Australia, devotees were going on Sankirtan and being arrested almost daily. Because what are they doing? They're performing Sankirtan, chanting the holy name, and distributing books. So they would be arrested. Prabhupada told them, don't pay the fines. They fine you, don't pay the fine. He said, just go to jail, but don't pay the fine. And when Prabhupada came there, the the media questioned Prabhupada about what's happening to your devotees there. What's going on with your devotees? They seem to be having a hard time. Prabhupada replied, oh well, we're lucky they have not crucified us yet. So that was Prabhupada's mood. He expected us to tolerate so many difficulties. And of course, Prabhupada also had difficulties. People were also opposing him. Just as there were threats on the life of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, sometimes there was also danger for Srila Prabhupada. In Calcutta, Prabhupada came to Calcutta in 1971. At that time there was a Naxalite movement. Naxalite movement was opposed to what? Opposed to the democracy, right? They were more communist, they wanted to promote kind of communist system. And there was a lot of killing, a lot of murders. So there was a fear for Prabhupada's life. But Prabhupada didn't care. Prabhupada went on with the program anyway. So that is devotee. They will risk their life for the service of Krishna. Just yesterday somebody was showing me, he let me hear a recording about His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami. And it was recorded just before he went to America, just a couple of years back when he went to America. His very last visit in Ujjain, he was speaking to the devotees there, and he was telling them how people are in danger, their lives are in danger, everywhere there's COVID. He said, I shouldn't just sit back, I shouldn't just simply hide away and try to protect myself. He said, I am the leader, I should go there, I should be in front, I should be out there. So that was his mood. And he went there to America in that mood, and he gave up his life for the service of Krishna. So people may say, oh, he didn't remember Krishna at the end of life. If he left unconscious or without devotees, he couldn't remember Krishna. But the Puranas tell us that even if we're not able to remember Krishna at the end of life, Krishna will remember the devotee. Krishna remembers how much service the devotee has done and how they've sacrificed their life for his service. So in that way, the devotee is willing to die for Krishna. So we have no doubt about the destiny of these wonderful devotees like Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, how they gave up everything for Krishna's service. And they did so much wonderful service for Srila Prabhupada. Alright, so we'll have bhajan, yeah? Srila Shankarapur, yeah? Going to have bhajan? Yeah, we're going to, before we have Katha, we want to be here. The camp is not ready yet. They've told us by 3 o'clock it should be ready for us to go there. So we're passing we're killing time, you could say. Anyway, that's our business, to use our time in the service of Krishna. Yeah. Okay.
अच्छा शाम के निकले शाम का निकले सही बता दो की तरह पानी भर रहा है ना उसके लिए दो की तरह काम चाहिए